Today's date is March 21st, 2023. The time is 6:23 p.m. Welcome to the meeting of the Board of Directors of the Sutphin Boulevard bid. Before we proceed to the meeting, we want to take a roll call to make sure that we have a quorum of the members present. Okay, myself, Alex Durso Jr., obviously present. Who's next?
Sharon Anderson, Office of the Queensborough President.
Okay, next.
James Mongeluso, Office of the New York City Comptroller.
Next, Carol, are you there? Carol? Carol
Radin Enterprises.
Yes. So I assume we now have a quorum, correct?
Yes, I don't think Ms. Reddick.
Yvonne Reddick, Community Board 12.
Okay.
And Raquel Olivares, SBS.
And then Sarah Nordman, non-voting guest.
So we can now proceed, okay? Before we do anything, is there a motion on the floor for us to adopt the minutes of our last meetings, which occurred on March 15th of 2023?
I adopt the minutes.
Okay, so you make a motion. Is there a motion to second that? Anyone wants to make a motion to second that?
I second it, Yvonne Reddick.
Okay, good. Anyone oppose? Being that no one is opposing us accepting the minutes of the March 15, 2023, the motion has passed. So the minutes are now being adopted. Second order of business is what we left off at the last meeting, where we're discussing the bylaws and we're discussing certain language that should be included in the bylaws. And since we realized it was going to take too long for us to arrive at some sort of a consensus, as a result, we decided to adjourn the meeting with the hope that we should come to a consensus today. Okay, so Sarah, it's all yours.
You're muted, Sarah. Okay.
Got it. We left off, where did we leave off last time? Well, what I was going to say is that here it is, Article B.
Section 5, yeah.
Glenn and Alex and my business partner Jerome and I met separately from this to talk through some of the other issues to bring back a suggestion to you guys. So we left off at officers and committees. The point in question that we had been discussing with Alex and Glenn was about how long an officer that is a chair, vice chair, secretary, or treasurer of the board should serve until they're term limited, if at all. And this was the wording that we collectively came up with. Each officer shall hold office for a 2-year term until a successor has been appointed or qualified. And then no officer shall serve more than 2 consecutive 2-year terms on the executive committee, and said officer shall not be permitted to serve again until after a full term has expired. How do you guys want to proceed with the rest of this? Do you want to talk through this, or you want to take a vote right now? How do you want to do it?
I mean, how many changes are there?
Subsequent to that, there aren't any more changes. Actually, so after that, there are no more changes. My intent was to tell you guys that the organization now needs to have a conflict of interest policy and a whistleblower policy because of the size of the revenue now that it has been combined with other bids. The other question that we discussed, that Jerome and I discussed on the call with Alex and Glenn, was about whether a director has to be a natural person. And we have sought legal advice about this since speaking to you guys, but don't have a clear answer. So we just inserted this word in, this phrase in, director shall be natural persons, and if it ends up being defeated in the future, well, then we'll deal with that at that time, but this is what we thought was best. The other option would be to allow directors to be organizations or legal entities, but that opens the door to potentially having one person who owns multiple properties, having each LLC up for election as a director, which is unlikely to be elected, but we wanted to put that out there. Other than that, it's the stuff that was discussed in the last meeting. So this is just a continuation of that.
I think before we continue to go forward, the first thing, I think Sarah was looking for some feedback in terms of whether or not we all agree on the language that has now been revised with respect to section 5.1, correct? That's what you were looking for, Sarah, for some feedback to see if everybody
Yeah.
was on board?
Let me go back and find it.
We wrestled with it, and this is pretty much the best that we were able to come up with. If somebody has another suggestion, by all means.
I have no objection to any of the wording.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody who has an objection to? So we're all good?
Sounds so.
Yes.
All right, so if we are, I think from what you had said previously, Sarah, there were no other changes that were made on to the rest of the bylaws and stuff. And what you were doing basically was pointing out the most important points or the most important clauses.
Correct. I mean, well, relative to your previous edition of the bylaws, the addition of clauses about a whistleblower policy and more language elucidating conflict of interest has been added subsequent to your 2004 iteration of the bylaws, but that was present in the copy that was circulated twice now. So my intent last time was just to explain those, but they're somewhat self-explanatory and don't require much discussion besides what words are on there already.
So do you think we're at the point where maybe we should consider taking a vote?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, how about you, Glenn? You think so?
I think we're ready.
Good. So if we are ready, then I suggest somebody makes a motion for us to adopt the bylaws.
I make a motion to adopt the bylaws.
Okay, is there anyone who's prepared to second that motion?
I second.
Okay, is there anyone opposed to us accepting the bylaws as revised? In view of the fact that there is no objection to us accepting the bylaws, the motion has passed and we have now accepted the bylaws as they have been presented to us by Sarah. Okay.
And I'll create a clean copy and
Sure.
circulate it to you guys.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Sure. Is there anything else that I think that was the purpose of us meeting tonight, correct?
That was the only agenda item.
Okay.
So you can call for a motion to adjourn.
Yes. Okay. Is there a motion on the floor for us to adjourn, considering the fact that some of us would like to watch the baseball game? I'm not pointing out anyone or anything like that.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Is there a motion to second that?
I second the motion.
Oh,
Good. Okay. Is there anyone opposed to us adjourning? In light of the fact that there's no one who's opposed to us adjourning, the meeting has now come to an end. So the meeting is now adjourned. And I will see some of you on the 29th. I assume you're going to be there.
mhm.
Raquel, you're going to be there, Sarah, and
Yes.
everyone else. Sarah, in the meantime, I intend to give you a call so that we can discuss certain things prior to the meeting on the 29th. Okay, fair
Sounds
enough?
good. Mhm.
Okay then, all right.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. Stay
Good night,
safe.
everyone.
Thank